was feeling like I was being pulled in a million different directions with the same amount of force. And we all know what happens if you do that. You literally will be ripped apart. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the I Am Power podcast. I am giving you a super random episode that is literally not scheduled. So thank you for letting me be in your ears right now. You're probably wondering, where the hell have I been? It's been like almost 6 months, Jessica, and here you are popping up out of nowhere right before the holidays or right in the middle of the holidays. We've already got some that have started by now. So I thought it was very important that I hop on here and just kind of give you guys an update. I wish that I would have done this sooner, but if I'm being really honest with you, I took a month off of social media, off of the internet. I totally disconnected, except for YouTube. I totally disconnected from the social world. And honestly, it felt good. It was a little intimidating at first, but I just kind of wanted to talk to you guys and tell you the reasonings why I did that and basically where the hell I've been for the past almost 6 months now. So thank you for being with me today. Basically, we finished airing season 3 and I think it was around July. I didn't even look at the dates before I hopped on here. I probably should have done that. And it was great. It was a fantastic season. Of course, every season is amazing. Every person that I have the opportunity to talk to is absolutely incredible. They have an amazing story that I truly feel like everyone needs to hear. But I kind of felt myself spiraling a little bit. I went really hard with the podcast this year. I hired on an assistant to help me kind of keep up with like the posting on social media, just to kind of, stay relevant and, feed the machine. And I brought her on and she helped me. She was amazing. And I really just kind of focused really heavily on the podcast, and kind of Jessica James art like took a back seat. And I don't know, it's just been, it's been difficult. If you know anything about podcasting, maybe you do, maybe you don't. It takes a lot out of you. It can easily become a full-time job. And that's basically what happened with I Am Power. Is it was my full-time job, constantly trying to stay relevant on the internet, but also, interviewing people and experiencing, sometimes that secondhand trauma that comes from hearing these stories. And then, just not really putting my own mental health at the forefront, which is what you should do. In doing this, you would think that I would know that, but it's something that I did not do. And I just was feeling very, I don't really know how to explain it. Having a podcast takes a lot out of you. There's a lot behind the scenes that goes on to make this happen every week. From the recording to the editing, to the promoting, and then all of the other stuff that is even further down from there. It costs a lot of money, I guess is where I'm going with this, is that it costs a lot to keep this up. There are a lot of subscriptions that have to be paid for every month, to make this happen. And so, to kind of combat that, I create the artwork to sell. Ultimately it is a piece of art that reminds my guests of their power and their capabilities, but also the viewers and the listeners, if they feel connected to that art, they have the opportunity to purchase and own a piece of that artwork in limited quantities. But we do sell those to try to fund the podcast. So basically, if those don't sell, because we're not running ads in the middle of these episodes, that's the only way to fund the podcast. And so the artwork just wasn't selling. It wasn't selling. So that's kind of a personal thing as an artist, if your artwork's not selling. But then, because I was spending so much time on the podcast and really trying to grow and build that, Jessica James art, which funds I Am Power, was not doing any art to sell. And so if you're not creating anything to sell, therefore no money's coming in. And so not as quickly as maybe you would think, but I did eventually kind of run out of money. And so I had to let my assistant go, which really, really sucked. I loved having her. She was amazing. So then, that kind of happened. So I had to let her go. And then I just kind of fell into this like funk and almost kind of feeling like a failure. Like I had put so much energy and so much love into this project, and for it to not be doing what I think it should be doing as far as funding itself, I think I kind of let that get to me. And so I was just definitely like, okay, something's got to give. I feel, there's tension within myself, which spills over into your home life. And then just not being present. I'm constantly feeling like I have to be on the internet and responding to messages and comments. So I wasn't being as present as I should be in my family life and my personal life. And so honestly, it was feeling like I was being pulled in a million different directions with the same amount of force. And we all know what happens if you do that. You literally will be ripped apart. And so, I recognized the feelings that I was having. I recognized where it was going, and I was, I told myself, okay, like I am the captain of this ship. If it is going down, I am going to do something to try to prevent that from happening. And so that meant me literally unplugging from everything for a month. Leading up to it, I was excited but nervous and like, oh my gosh, like if I don't post every day or whatever, like some magical, world of the internet is going to give a shit whether or not I'm posting in my stories, or if I'm not, what happened to Jessica? Is anyone going to care? So like, the reality is that what's important to you is right in front of you, like physical, what you can touch. And that is myself. I can touch myself. I can touch my husband. I can touch my children. So I had to like really take a step back and say, they need all of me. Like they need the most of me, if anything. If not all of me, they need the most of me. And they were not getting the most of me. I was not getting the most of me. So unplugging, disconnecting, and taking that pressure off of pressure that comes with being a creator on the internet. It was intimidating. I'm not going to lie. The week leading up to it, I was like, can I do this? Is anyone, am I going to lose followers? Am I going to lose people? Whatever. And it's the craziest thing to actually think that like that's a worry. Because honestly, if someone really cares about you, if your followers or your listeners really give a shit about you, like they're going to be there. They might even like reach out to you and be like, hey, like I've been thinking about you, but like, they're not going to go anywhere. Like people that leave didn't belong there anyways. So leading up to it, it was nerve-wracking, but also exciting, kind of exciting. I was really looking forward to just like not worrying about it, not worrying about, what's going on in internet land. And so I took a month off. And I really kind of dove deep into the YouTube channel, which originally was centered completely around I Empower podcast. But I felt like it was a platform that had less, I don't know, like it just wasn't as intimidating or pressure filled like a lot of the other platforms are. And so I kind of just like, I used that as my outlet to kind of document and record like what was going on, which was a lot of plant things. If you don't follow me anywhere else but on the audio version on your Apple Podcasts or your Spotify or whatever streaming platform that you listen to, then you probably don't know this. But I went really hard into the plants, like hard into the plants. But, I had a few moments of kind of, I don't know, like epiphany moments of experiencing life and growth and the capabilities of literally coming back from the brink of death with a few plants that I had. And so when I had that connection and that moment with them, I was like, okay, I need more of this. This is some really great dopamine. It's some really safe dopamine. I think, my husband would beg to differ with the amount of plants that are now residing in our household. But it was a really good, I don't know, like I felt the happiest I have felt in a really fucking long time during that internet break. And I think a lot of it has to do with the plants and having that coping mechanism, Oh gosh, where am I going with this? But yeah, so just having that time away and really kind of embracing the flora love that is new to my life. You've been a listener on here. I haven't talked about it a whole lot, but I have talked a little bit about my own mental health struggles. I do live with depression, anxiety. And so, we've talked about healthy coping skills or healthy coping mechanisms. I can't talk today. Like writing or expressive art, things like that, or, exercising, going out and, being in nature is really good ways to kind of, combat those shitty feelings that you have. And so I feel like, plants are a distraction, are a good coping skill or a good coping mechanism for me. I'm really kind of, having that connection with something else that's living. And, a lot of people are like, oh, I have kids. Like, it's the same thing. No, it's not. There's something really different about, raising plants or growing plants and experiencing life in a different way. But also gives me a lot of appreciation for how intelligent these creatures are, how resilient these creatures are. I told my husband at one time, here we are humans thinking that we are like the superior beings. And maybe you don't think that, but I have thought that I was top of the food chain. I was superior. I was the top. No, these creatures, and there are probably a whole hell of a lot more out there that are way better than this. Maybe, I don't know. But like plants, they're freaking awesome. They are incredible. I have fallen madly in love with plants. They've helped me kind of, get myself under control, get my thoughts under control, get my emotions under control, because they are giving me so much happiness. And I really think that that's basically kind of where I'm going with this episode, is to just encourage you to find something that brings you true happiness, something that makes you want to wake up in the morning, like every day's Christmas morning. And that's how I feel. Every morning I wake up and I'm like, I can't wait to go and see if I have a new leaf or which plant has grown, or, to go tend to these things. And so like, just life is fucking short, and happiness is a choice. And so I choose to be happy. I want to be happy. And I have found something that has helped me feel happier. Of course, my family definitely makes me feel happy. I'm so blessed to have the family that I have. But this is a little bit different. This is something that's specifically for myself. It's a little selfish. And I think it's important that we do some selfish things for ourselves every now and then. But yeah, so I took a month off of the internet, and I really kind of was like, what am I going to do? During the break, which is what happens all the time, I do interview guests to try to, build up. But my goal this season was to have everyone interviewed. Everybody's interviewed already. And that was the goal. And the second goal was to have all of the artwork done. Which I have not done yet, but I'm going to start working on it. It's, I'm feeling better. I'm feeling less burnt out. I'm feeling less burnt out. So I'm ready to jump on that. And basically, I just want to thank you for staying around and hanging out with me, even though I, went MIA for a really long time. But I'm ready to be back. So I just wanted to jump on here and let you guys know that season 4 is going to be airing in mid-January. I'm really excited about the guests that I have lined up for you. There are some incredible stories that I think you need to hear. I say this all the time. I think you need to hear everybody's story. So if you haven't already, if you're not up to date on the I Empower podcast, now is the time to go and binge and listen to all of those episodes. But yeah, so season 4 will be airing very soon. It is my honor to share these stories with you guys and share some artwork with you. And of course, I just get to plug it again. If you feel connected to the art, any of the old art too, the art from any of the previous episodes, please, if you feel inclined, please purchase that. That literally helps me keep these stories up. It helps me pay for all the subscriptions that go along with keeping this thing going. And that's ultimately the goal. And I had to get really comfortable with myself saying that and asking for help and asking my listeners to, support us in a monetary way. that's ultimately the goal, is to just keep these stories up forever so that nobody feels the way that I felt when I was going through the thick of my struggle, and that is alone. I don't want anyone to ever feel like they are alone in their journey or in their struggles, and that they are very capable of overcoming whatever it is that they've been through. So I hope that everything that I just said wasn't too rambly and makes sense in some way or another, but I just kind of wanted to pop in on here and give you guys an update on what's been going on, where I'm at, and also wish you guys happy holidays, because we are right in the thick of the holiday season and we're coming in on the new year, and I just think it's a really good opportunity. I think every day is a good opportunity to say, hey, you know what? I want a difference in my life. I want my life to be different. I want to be freaking happy. Like, every day is an opportunity to make that difference and make that change. But you know, it goes with the season, new year, new me. And so it's a perfect opportunity to really just be like, okay, this is it. This is going to be my year. We are ultimately in control of how we handle things, how we process things, how we look at things, our perspectives. We can't always be in control of what happens in that life, but we can definitely be in control of how we react to it to an extent. But yeah, so I just wanted to jump in on here and say thank you guys for not leaving me if you've been here this long and you're still here. But to let you know, we've got a new season coming for you very soon. Of course, I'm just going to do my little quick outro here. If you liked this video or this episode, please give me a like so that the machine knows that you like me and will maybe push me out for other people to hear. I just want to grow this community. I just want to create a space where you feel happy and seen and heard and encouraged. So yes, liking these episodes helps that. Also, subscribing helps me. It helps me grow and it helps me be seen. And not me. When I say me, not me, I just mean the messages that I am trying to share with you guys and the world. So if you feel inclined, please consider subscribing to my channel so that you don't miss next week's episode. Oh gosh, that is definitely what I say all the time on my outro. But just subscribe so that you don't miss the next episode of the I Am Power podcast. I will see you guys very soon.